Chosen one, if you are encountering this message, understand that it is not coincidental. The timing, the medium, and the message have all aligned for a specific reason. What you are experiencing in this moment, whether it be restlessness, heightened awareness, or a persistent inner stirring, is part of a greater shift unfolding within and around you. This is not merely a psychological episode or fleeting emotional state. It represents a critical phase in your spiritual and personal development. Across various traditions and belief systems, it is widely acknowledged that moments of spiritual transformation are often preceded by signs, subtle or pronounced, that signal the onset of significant change. These signs may manifest in the form of insomnia, intense emotional fluctuations, or a heightened sensitivity to one's surroundings. Rather than dismissing these experiences, it is important to interpret them as indicators of a deeper awakening. The current moment may be best understood as a period of divine alignment. Many individuals across the globe are reporting similar patterns of restlessness and clarity, often during nighttime hours. This synchrony suggests more than just a shared experience. It points to a coordinated energetic shift that is larger than any one person. For those attuned to it, the implications are both profound and urgent. Increased awareness often emerges as a byproduct of such moments. You may find yourself revisiting past hopes, dreams, and aspirations that once felt distant or unattainable. These are no longer abstract wishes. They are becoming tangible possibilities. This transformation, however, is not passive. It requires conscious engagement. There must be a willingness to participate in your own renewal. This phase marks fundamental shift, not just in mindset, but in spiritual and energetic orientation. The changes are internal, yet they will begin to manifest externally in how you perceive the world, relate to others, and move through daily life. This process is not always comfortable. It may disrupt routines, challenge long-held beliefs, and bring to the surface unresolved issues. Yet this discomfort is a necessary component of growth. Sleep disruption is one of the most common indicators of such transformation. For many, the inability to rest is not a physical ailment, but a sign that deeper spiritual processes are underway. The mind remains active, the heart unsettled, and the body alert, even in the absence of identifiable stressors. These patterns should not be dismissed. They represent a form of divine communication, one that bypasses logic and speaks directly to the soul. This restlessness is not punitive. It is preparatory. It signifies that you are being called to move into a new phase of existence, one that demands greater clarity, strength, and resolve. The unease is a kind of spiritual forging, a process by which old patterns are broken down to make way for new, more aligned ways of being. Avoidance or denial will only prolong this process. Engagement and surrender, on the other hand, can accelerate your progression toward peace, purpose, and alignment. There is a broader context to this moment. Spiritually speaking, many believe that certain times are more potent than others. These, the divine moments, are often characterized by alignment across time, space, and spirit. They function as portals, windows of opportunity through which significant transformation can occur. Missing such moments can result in delays, both spiritual and practical. Recognizing them, however, can lead to rapid acceleration in personal and spiritual development. The presence of spiritual energy during this time may be perceptible in subtle but distinct ways. Some report feeling a physical sensation, such as a warming of the chest, tingling in the limbs, or a surge of emotional intensity. These experiences are often accompanied by a sense of anticipation, even if the precise object of that anticipation is not yet clear. These signs are not arbitrary. They are evidence of a shift taking place at a foundational level. This shift is not merely about achieving personal goals or attaining success in the conventional sense. Rather, it concerns alignment. with a larger spiritual purpose. For individuals identified as chosen in a metaphysical or symbolic framework, this means being prepared for a role that carries responsibility, influence, and the potential for meaningful impact. The restlessness is a signal. Preparation is underway, and participation is required. In historical and scriptural narratives, transformative events are often preceded by a period of isolation, reflection, or trial. Figures such as Moses, Jesus, and Elijah underwent such phases before stepping into their roles. This is not to draw a direct comparison, but to illustrate a recurring pattern. Discomfort often precedes breakthrough. The unease you may be feeling is part of that preparatory arc. Modern interpretations of spiritual awakening emphasize the necessity of release. Old beliefs, unproductive habits, and limiting perceptions must be identified and set aside. This is not a one-time event, but a process ongoing and dynamic. With each release comes greater clarity, and with greater clarity comes increased capacity to serve, lead, and embody purpose. The divine energy currently active in your life is not random. It serves a specific function, to realign you with your highest potential. This energy is not chaotic. It is intelligent and purposeful. It moves to dismantle barriers, fear, self-doubt, past wounds, and replace them with resilience, hope, and spiritual clarity. The process can feel disorienting, especially if it touches on deeply held attachments. Yet the objective is not destruction, but reformation. Much like a blacksmith uses fire to shape metal, this spiritual process uses pressure, heat, and persistence to shape character and capacity. What emerges from this refining process is not weaker, but stronger, not scattered, but focused. The key is not to resist, but to lean in, to understand that the process itself is the path. This energy has implications that extend beyond personal development. When an individual aligns with their divine assignment, it creates ripple effects. Families are impacted. Communities benefit. Future generations may even trace their transformation to your decision to respond. That is the scale of what is being prepared. It is not only about you. It is about what will flow through you. In this context, it becomes clear that your restlessness is not a sign of something wrong. It is a sign that something important is beginning. Rather than seeking to suppress it with distraction or resignation, consider what it may be asking of you. Are there decisions you delayed? Are there callings you've ignored? Are there gifts you've failed to cultivate? This moment is inviting you to reconsider. There is no guarantee that this kind of divine moment will repeat itself in the same way. Timing is essential. Just as there are seasons in nature, there are spiritual seasons, times when growth is rapid and visibility is high. This appears to be one of those times. The clarity and urgency you feel are invitations to act, not to observe. Preparation during such times is both inward and outward. It involves reflection, prayer, or meditation, and honest evaluation. But it also involves tangible actions, setting intentions, clearing out distractions, and prioritizing what truly matters. The combination of spiritual alignment and practical action is what enables transformation to take root and flourish. You may not yet know the full scope of what is being activated within you. That is acceptable. What matters is your willingness to say yes, to stay open, to stay present, and to trust that this process, however mysterious, is not without design. It is, in fact, unfolding according to a wisdom that surpasses your current understanding, but will one day make perfect sense. This is not merely about inspiration or motivation. It is about transformation, systematic, holistic, and enduring. And it begins now. As you continue in this process of awakening, it's essential to understand that transformation does not always unfold in public view. Often, the most significant Spiritual changes occur privately beneath the surface, away from attention and outside of recognition. Yet these quiet evolutions are no less powerful. In fact, they are frequently more enduring. This phase may challenge your understanding of timing. You may expect immediate results or external confirmation of your growth, but spiritual timing rarely conforms to personal schedules. It moves according to alignment, not urgency. What feels like delay may actually be divine orchestration. What appears to be stagnation may, in fact, be quiet preparation. This shift asks for trust, not passive optimism, but active engagement with the present. It is not enough to wait. You must prepare. If you are sensing that change is coming, then organize your environment to reflect that expectation. Clear space in your schedule. Limit unnecessary distractions. Establish routines that allow clarity to become a daily rhythm, not a rare exception. Often, the first place this realignment becomes visible is in your relationships. As you elevate spiritually, the dynamic between you and others may begin to shift. Certain connections may no longer feel aligned. This does not mean those individuals are bad or harmful. It simply means your paths may be moving in different directions. Releasing relationships that no longer support your growth is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of clarity. You may also find that new individuals begin to enter your life. These connections often feel effortless, grounded, and purposeful. They resonate with where you are going, not just where you have been. Pay attention to these new alignments. They are often part of the support structure being put in place for your next season. It is important to note that elevation does not erase emotion. There may be moments of sadness, nostalgia, or even fear. These are natural reactions to letting go of familiar systems, even when those systems no longer serve you. Rather than suppress these feelings, acknowledge them, but don't allow them to guide your decisions. Let your clarity, not your emotion, define your direction. Your environment will reflect your alignment. As you grow, you will become more sensitive to dissonant situations, conversations, or spaces that no longer feel safe or suitable. This sensitivity is a gift. It allows you to preserve your energy and invest it in spaces where it is most impactful. At this stage, your spiritual discernment sharpens. You begin to see through facades. You recognize when words do not match energy. You no longer confuse charisma with character or volume with value. This clarity can feel isolating at first, but over time, it becomes liberating. You are no longer easily swayed by trends or influenced by urgency. You move with purpose, not pressure. This discernment is essential because, as you elevate, more opportunities will present themselves. Not all of them will be aligned. Some will be distractions disguised as promotions. Others will be detours dressed as invitations. Without discernment, it is easy to say yes to everything and end up misaligned. With discernment, you will recognize that sometimes the wisest choice is to wait. Waiting does not mean inactivity. It means intentionality. It means engaging in preparation while resisting the urge to rush into action. The divine may be building capacity in you, stretching your ability to handle what you are asking for. Elevation is not just about receiving more. It's about becoming someone who can sustain more. Spiritual sustainability requires structure. As you elevate, your daily practices matter more than ever. Morning routines, intentional reflection, movement, and even the way you manage your digital space, all these seemingly minor habits contribute to your capacity to stay aligned. You cannot carry a divine assignment with a disordered routine. Structure protects clarity. As clarity deepens, you may begin to receive insight, not only for yourself, but for others. Ideas may surface. Solutions may emerge. Concepts may arrive, fully formed, as though downloaded from beyond your own intellect. This is the fruit of alignment. When you are centered, your creative and spiritual channels open wider. These insights are not for entertainment. They are assignments. Capture them. Document them. Begin to take small steps toward bringing them into reality. You may not yet have every detail, but you are not required to. Faith often moves before the full picture is revealed. What matters most is that you begin. You are not being called to fulfill this alone. While the journey often begins in isolation, elevation leads to collaboration. The people, resources, and support you need are already being aligned. Your responsibility is not to control the timeline, but to remain ready. Stay present. Stay clear. Stay anchored. Anchoring is especially important because elevation will inevitably attract resistance. Whether it comes in the form of external criticism, internal doubt, or unexpected challenges, resistance is not failure. It is often confirmation. When you shift atmospheres, not every environment will respond positively. But your role is not to react, it is to remain. Reaction pulls you out of alignment. Stillness keeps you centered. Your peace becomes your protest. Your clarity becomes your covering. And your consistency becomes your defense. You do not need to explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your alignment will speak for itself over time. Let your life become the evidence dot in this season. Your focus should not be on proving your worth, but on embodying your truth. When you do, people will feel the difference. They may not understand it immediately, but they will recognize its authenticity. Authenticity is magnetic. It draws what is aligned and repels what is not. Trust this process. You do not need to force outcomes. The right connections, opportunities, and doors will find you when you're walking in alignment. As this transformation solidifies, you may begin to notice a shift in your voice, both literal and symbolic. You speak with more conviction. You communicate with greater clarity. You no longer hesitate to say what must be said, because you are no longer trying to be liked. You are trying to be honest. This honesty is not harsh. It is healing. It creates space for others to walk in truth as well. As you live in alignment, you become a mirror for others. Your journey gives them permission to start their own. Your courage becomes their invitation. Your transformation becomes their inspiration. You may never know the full impact of your decision to walk in alignment, but it will be felt. Not always in grand gestures, but in quiet shifts. In conversations that go differently. In relationships that heal. In decisions that ripple outward. This is what it means to be chosen, not to be superior, but to be surrendered. Not to be flawless, but to be faithful. Not to be seen by all, but to be led by something greater. And so, as you move forward from this message, let it not be a moment of inspiration alone. Let it be a turning point. Let it mark the beginning of a deeper rhythm, a commitment to alignment, not just today, but every day. Let your clarity lead your steps. Let your peace confirm your direction. Let your preparation reflect your belief. And let your presence become the message. You are no longer waiting. You are walking. You are not guessing. You are listening. You are not hoping to be chosen. You are already aligned with the assignment. Walk in it. Live it. Let it transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone your alignment touches. This is the season. This is the shift. This is your moment. You are the chosen one. Chosen one. As you reach this final segment of the message, take a moment to acknowledge the depth of what has unfolded. You have not merely listened, you've aligned. What was once scattered has now begun to converge. What felt distant has moved closer. And what you once questioned about your path has started to come into view. This is the point where transformation becomes integration. You are not called to endlessly chase the next insight, the next sign, or the next revelation. You are being instructed to pause, breathe, and allow what you've already received to become your foundation. Because clarity, once received, must be applied. Otherwise, it becomes noise. The journey you've been on wasn't designed to be dramatic. It was designed to be precise. Divine timing has moved you steadily toward this moment. And now the question is not what comes next, but how you will embody what has already been confirmed. The restlessness you've experienced wasn't without meaning. It wasn't a flaw in your rhythm. It was the signal that your spiritual capacity had expanded beyond the limitations of your previous environment. This dissonance was the evidence of internal elevation. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. Every disruption you felt in your spirit was not rejection. It was redirection. You are now entering a phase where spiritual maturity must be evident not only in your thoughts, but in your posture. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you carry yourself in rooms where no one affirms you, and the way you maintain peace where no one understands you. This level of embodiment cannot be taught, it is chosen. And it begins when you make the decision to stop doubting your discernment and start trusting your preparation. What this looks like, practically, is simple but powerful. You no longer need to over-explain your calling. You no longer need to rehearse your old wounds to validate your healing. You no longer need to participate in conversations that dim your awareness or dilute your assignment. You are allowed to walk away quietly. You are permitted to close the door without making an announcement. The season you are entering now values alignment over attention. You are learning to recognize that not every battle is yours to fight. Not every voice needs a response. Not every situation requires your involvement. The most strategic form of clarity is knowing where your energy is needed and where it is being wasted. That is the difference between being active and being effective. And you, chosen one, are now being called into effectiveness. This effectiveness begins with the quality of your internal space. The thoughts you entertain, the routines you uphold, and the decisions you make in silence are no longer inconsequential. They are the architecture of your next season. You are now aware that success without spiritual discipline is fragile. You've seen how unchecked emotions can sabotage alignment. You've witnessed how scattered energy can delay timing. And so you no longer take stillness for granted. You now understand that clarity isn't something you chase. It's something you cultivate. In this cultivation, there will be moments where silence speaks louder than affirmation. Your elevation will often be quiet. It won't always be accompanied by public recognition or external validation, but it will be undeniable. The shift within you will begin to influence your surroundings, not by force, but by frequency. People will notice something different. They may not have the language for it. They may even resist it, but they will feel it. That is what spiritual embodiment looks like. This alignment does not eliminate challenge, but it does eliminate confusion. You may still face obstacles. You may still experience moments of doubt, but you will not question who you are. You will not question why you are here, because now the assignment is internalized. It is no longer something you're trying to prove. It is something you are living. You now realize that peace is your power. Stillness is your strategy. Discipline is your protection. And clarity is your compass. These are not just concepts, they are the tools you will use to build the next stage of your life. This final part of the journey requires you to see your past differently, not through the lens of regret, but through the lens of refinement. Everything you've endured, every delay, every detour, every disappointment was data, not to defeat you, but to direct you. What was once painful has now become prophetic. The patterns you've broken, the wisdom you've gained, and the strength you've developed were all necessary for your elevation. You were never disqualified. You were being equipped. And now, the equipping has shifted to activating. This activation is not just spiritual, it's practical. You will begin to move differently. You'll approach relationships with more discernment. You'll handle your time with more intention. You'll treat your body, your finances, your boundaries, and your dreams with more honor. Because everything that flows through you must now be aligned with what's flowing into you. That means saying no when necessary. That means walking away when instructed. That means remaining silent when prompted. That means obeying even when it's inconvenient. You are being entrusted with vision, not just for yourself, but for others. There are people connected to your obedience. Their clarity, their courage, and their confirmation will come not through what you say, but through how you leave. That's what legacy is. And you, chosen one, are not just walking for today. You are walking for the generations behind you. You are breaking cycles with your consistency. You are healing lineages with your presence. You are shifting atmospheres with your decisions. And you are doing it not with noise, but with alignment. This is not a race. There is no rush. The pace of peace is the pace of purpose. Trust that divine timing is still intact. What is meant for you will not be withheld from you, but it will require your preparation. And now that you've been prepared, now that you've seen, understood, and aligned, it's time to walk. No more hesitation, no more apology, no more waiting for someone to validate what you already know. You are not here by accident. You are not listening to this message by coincidence. You are the evidence that divine alignment is real. So walk in it, consistently, quietly, boldly. Live the message. Become the answer you were waiting for. And let your life speak so clearly that it becomes a roadmap for those still finding their way. You are not just carrying the light. You are becoming the light. And as you move forward from this moment, let this be your confirmation. You are ready. You are aligned. You are activated. Now, go walk like it. Chosen one, if this message resonated with you, then understand, it was never just content. It was confirmation. What you just heard wasn't designed to stir temporary emotion. It was structured to realign your direction, reaffirm your process, and invite you into the next level of clarity and embodiment. This is not the end of your journey. It's a new beginning. And as you step forward, the most powerful thing you can do now is respond with intention. First, take a moment to reflect, not just on what was said, but on what it confirmed for you. What did this message bring to the surface? What did it settle in your spirit? Let that be the starting point for your next steps. Don't rush away. Let it settle. Then, if you're ready to stay aligned with messages like this, designed not to entertain but to equip, make sure you subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe, you're not just joining an audience. You're joining a rhythm of spiritual maturity, clarity, and ongoing alignment. Each message is created with care for individuals like you, those on a path of divine purpose, quiet strength, and meaningful change. Click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future insights that speak directly to where you are. Next, participate. This isn't a one-way space. Your voice matters. Drop a comment below and share the phrase, "I am aligned, I am prepared, I am walking forward." Not as a trend, but as a personal declaration. This community is strengthened by your voice, your journey, and your confirmation. If this message brought clarity to your life, consider sharing it with someone else. You never know who might be silently searching for answers. One message, shared at the right moment, can be a turning point for someone's spiritual journey. And finally, commit to the walk not just today, but every day. Let this message become a part of your rhythm. Revisit it when you feel doubt, Reflect on it when the noise gets loud. Let it remind you of who you are and what you carry. You are not just a listener. You are a vessel of clarity, direction, and divine alignment. You are the chosen one. Now, walk forward, aligned, anchored, activated. If this message spoke to you on a deeper level, don't let it end here. Subscribe to this channel to stay connected with content created specifically for chosen ones walking a path of spiritual clarity and purpose. Each video is crafted to guide, ground, and activate your awareness right when you need it most. By subscribing and turning on notifications, you ensure that you never miss a moment of alignment. This is more than a channel. It's a community of awakened individuals moving with intention. Join us and continue growing in wisdom, strength, and divine timing. Your journey deserves consistent support.